I've been learning a lot about this thing called post-traumatic stress disorder, this wartime disease, this combat fatigue diagnosis, and I read something somewhere that I thought was worth sharing with you all. Fact: urban youth are twice as likely to get post-traumatic stress disorder than soldiers who are coming home from war. So tell me, what is the difference between homicide in the streets and bloodshed on the battlefields of Iraq, a battalion of young soldiers who meant to sign up for the football team and not the military? They're all wearing black RIP hoodies like the triangular folding of this country's flag, a gift to the mother of the fallen. The only difference is between a tank and a police car is the speed in which innocent civilians can run when profiled. So those new Jordans you're wearing double as a fashion statement and combat boots. Purple hearts that my students wear every time they are wounded at war on their own streets. The way police sirens sound too much like oncoming missiles whistling in the distance. The way siren lights don't mean to look like flash grenades. The way the night doesn't mean to camouflage their skin into enemy soldier. AK-47 is just another way to identify the apartment number of the boy who just wants to make it to the bus stop tomorrow morning. This is all making so much sense now. Why I continue to confuse my mother's hugs for a straitjacket every time she touches me. The way my high school students are beginning to look a lot like the aftermath of a promise broken at the knees, lined up for duty, sitting in desks, waiting for what will come first, death or the school bell. It all comes down to simple arithmetic if you ask me. Watch. When you watch one 13-year-old witness as 3 of his homies get their brains blown away on the corner of where the avenues meet the flats in the span of 1 month, how much will it cost before we stop wondering why he doesn't give a shit about school? When is this teacher gonna stop sending him to the principal and start sending him to the counselor? Why did we fire the counselor? What happened to the art classes and PE and the health center? Because trauma is an STD. It's a socially transmitted disease, meaning my trauma is your trauma. His trauma was always mine, and that's what it means to be in a community. The only difference there is between a soldier with PTSD and one of my students with it is that the soldier gets to leave the battlefield while my kids go home to it. So if they never really exit the trauma and cycle through the cacophony like the broken record of a drive-by shooting that never really ends, then they don't really have post-traumatic anything. None of them are living long enough to tell their own story. And for those who do, they'll grow up hallucinating themselves into thinking that every human touch that comes into contact with their skin is actually a lieutenant colonel dressed in camouflage with a boot to their neck and a semi-automatic pointing to the backs of their heads, resisting the urge to pull.